This is the host of the One Stone Dude podcast, Ryan Castle, showing away for the Anchor app. If you hadn't heard about Anchor and you want to do your own podcast, Anchor is the easiest way to do so. I find it nothing but awesome. So let me explain. First off, it's free. You can't beat that. Then there's creation tools that allow you to edit your podcast right from your phone or your PC. Convenience. Then Anchor will distribute your podcast right to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more, taking the work out of everything. Then you get to monetize your podcast with no minimal listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. What's up, everybody out there in 420 land? This is your host of the One Stone Dude podcast, Ryan Castle. Today, we have actually not even on the line, but actually coming in the studio, Arizona professional wrestler Jay Garland. Today will be the last episode of the season. This is our season finale. We will be back August 3rd, and what I mean by we is it's going to be me and Rob and Nod. Rob has agreed to be on at least once a week to be the co-host and ask his questions and pull his interviews, and he's also going to help me with the producing part of it as well and doing the mix and soundboards, and we're going to work on trying to make this show as professional as possible. We're going to throw in for some mics and some laptops and stop using phones finally. So, yeah, now you know the magic behind it. We're working off 2 phones over here, that's about it, and some mics. So, that's what's next for the One Stone Dude podcast. You might have to call it two Stone Dude podcast. I don't know, something like that. I'm going to try to throw some YouTube clips in here. It just depends on how long the interview goes. But Jay is on his way over to hang out in the studio with me. And he doesn't smoke, so I got all my weed to myself. And what I'm smoking on today is Lemonhead. I got that from Curaleaf. It's a nice sativa with a good body buzz. So if you take any other medication, I don't recommend it though. It's just a little extra thing I wanted to throw out there. Anyhow, feel free to contact me with the email I left in the last episode. Enjoy the episode, and I will see you on the outro.
Every day God is born and finds himself in human form. He denies himself to find true wealth within. In his tribe, his health is prized possession. Sin is diverting from that rugged path that leads to the truth that he is I and I am we.
Super good. Inglewood. Purple rain falling down on the prince of the coast where the sun shine all year round. Purple haze over landscape, still I hydrate in the lunch line with the smog and clouds. Would start me out. This song's in the key of life, and love is in need of more. Young nigga from Inglewood, barefoot on the cedar floor. If black music is the blood, then my heart has been beating more. Rapidly, happily, I look back on a Afeni Shakur. Her son paved the way.
Welcome back, everyone, to the One Stone Dude podcast. This is your host, Ryan Castle. In the studio with me today is my good friend for a really long time now, Mr. Jay, the feature presentation Garland. Jay, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good, brother. Doing awesome. Good. Happy to be here, so thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Hopefully this recording works out and we can set it on YouTube. Guys actually get to see what goes on behind just the podcast, so hopefully this will be my first one. Anyway, let's go to part 1. Let's talk about wrestling right off the bat. Where were you trained and by who?
Okay. So originally I started back in November of 2001 with the legendary Dory Funk Jr.
Oh, wow.
Made several trips back and forth from AZ to Florida while I was in the initial parts of my training. It was good. Only problem was it was super expensive, man. It was so expensive. So it's like I'd come home and literally just work jobs to save up to go to Dory's, and upwards of $1,000 just for the training for that week. Plus, you got to think of your travel and your lodging and all that stuff.
You spend like $2,000 in a week.
Easily, man.
Holy shit!
It was
What were
rough.
you doing to make $2,000 a week?
Just working side jobs. Look, thankfully, at the time, no. I mean, at the time, you know, I'm 18, 19, 20. I was still living at home, so my mom gave me the support by letting me focus on my wrestling. You know, she's like, don't worry about rent or anything like that. So,
shit, that's cool.
It was alright. It's alright. We got into a little pickle though, because I wasn't pulling my weight like I should have. I was a young kid though. I didn't know any better. So.
Sorry, I had to be in the Marine Corps in order for my life to sort of get together when I was in my 20s.
Right.
Because I would have never done it on my own. I would have been living with somebody's family.
Right.
Who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
Man,
there's a difference. That's why I say that.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, I'm gonna say when I was younger, when I was a kid, like a young kid, man, I loved watching Savage, Snuka. And it's funny, like, I think it's hilarious now, but when I was a kid, my favorite tag team was the Bushwhackers.
Oh, I think it's every kid's favorite tag team. Of course. Luke and Butch are awesome.
Yeah, man. Dude. But if I had to pick an overall favorite from childhood, Savage, Mr. Perfect was right behind him, though. I was a huge fan of.
Is that where you get your drop kicks from?
Not really.
Because you have, like, picture-perfect drop kicks. Like, that shit should be in slow motion when you throw that shit. Right. They're perfect, they're on point. I don't think I've ever seen you go, like, lower than you were supposed to. You've always hit on point with your drop kicks, man.
Right.
So, sorry, I'm embarrassing you. I didn't think I could turn a black guy red.
No.
Look at that shit. Awesome.
Oh, goodness.
So, who became your favorite after you started working?
Favorite after I started working... yeah, man, that's still kind of a tough question. See, once I became familiar, I mean, okay, so before training, I'm gonna say pre-wrestling training, my three that I would always put over or talk about was The Rock, Booker T, and Rob Van Dam.
Okay.
Those three guys were like the you know, just like the in-ring charisma and everything that those guys had, like. That's what I was all about. But once I got started and I actually learned the ins and the outs and stuff, pretty much the floodgates opened up. Like, I didn't have a favorite anymore.
Nice.
You know, one thing that I learned was you should be able to learn something from everybody in this business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even that's one of the things that I teach now is that even the guys who are shitty and don't probably have no business being in the wrestling business, you should be able to watch their matches, pick that shit apart and say, you know what? I'm not going to do this,
right.
this, and this, and this.
Right.
Because that's...
It's a good lesson on what not to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, once, like I said, once I got involved and started learning, and it was just like, my favorite wrestler just went out the window, man.
Right.
You know, I learned something from everybody. You know, I used to study a lot of Chris Benoit. You know, just the intensity. I always saw myself as wanting to be this intense wrestler, man.
Nykerk used to make me want to do. He used to make me get in that style.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, you're short, you're stocky, use it, man.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
My favorite wrestler at the time right before I started training was John Cena. Swear to God.
Yeah.
Swear to fucking God, man, John Cena. I know, dude. I know.
Hey, you know what? You say people say what they want about the dude, but I feel like he's one of the best guys as far as just his overall. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to get people to study his techniques or whatnot as far as, okay, you see he's taking the heat, you know, when it's time for him to come back, he's about to fucking...
Yeah, but he stares at the guy.
No comment. But real talk, listen to this. Here's the deal. If you were working John Cena, and John Cena said, hey, here comes my comeback. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen?
Shoulder tackle, fucking leg drop or something like that, or an elbow. Yeah, I already expected.
You
He
know,
might even throw a leapfrog in there.
He probably wouldn't have to call any of it because
No,
it's going to be the same comeback all
Yeah,
the time.
he does.
It's
He pulls a flare.
Yeah. So it's like you can't beat that, man. As
Look
far
at you,
as
you're the only wrestler I know that's ever put over John Cena.
well,
Because he doesn't put anybody else over either. But,
oh
you know,
God.
I'm sorry.
One of them disclaimers, like I don't agree with any.
Oh
of
yeah, my opinions are not necessarily his.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's fine. As I got into the business, I turned Japanese wrestling. Like I like Masato Tanaka, especially because the first time I had ever seen him, what got me to Japanese wrestling was seeing him in ECW.
Right.
And not knowing that there were more than just one company in Japan, so that's when it started turning me on. I like Masawa. I had a pair of tights that were green and the white around the trim and shit. Yeah, that was my little thing then, man. You know? But I even used Masato Tanaka's finisher, the Diamond Dust.
Oh yeah.
That was my finisher towards the
I'm
end.
pretty sure I took that finisher from you.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't somebody do like one off the ropes? Like they hit the ropes first, like in a sitting position, and then flip onto them like that.
If you're talking current wrestling, I don't keep up with anything now.
No shit.
So, yeah, I haven't been able to watch it in so long.
I haven't watched a WWE show in 4 months. I've watched AEW because it's new, and I like seeing new shit. I like seeing all these guys come up from the indies, man. These guys worked hard, you know that. And I watch NXT because once again, it's new people I haven't seen before, and they're not quite set in the WWE type of training or program that they could be working. It seems to be a little more freer,
right?
Than NXT. You know? Which style do you prefer?
Definitely American. Like I have a respect for all different styles, but like the drama behind, like for me, okay, American wrestling is like it's almost like theater. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you do it right, it can be. You know, Japanese is more like a sport to me, and then with like lucha libre, it's more just like. I mean, it's a lot of acrobatics involved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and like I said, I respect all of them. They're all, like, something that people have to work hard to be a part of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're all tied in together. There's a lot of similarities and everything, but...
I don't know why people think it's fucking easy. How many times I've seen some people come over where me and Gallagher were training, like they'd have absolutely said like no business being there whatsoever, and they seem to think that they can fucking do it, and they find out, and like you find out real fucking quick that you can. So,
well, what have people been told this whole time about it? It's fake.
Yeah, right.
It's fake. You know what I'm saying? So it's like easily, if something's fake, you're gonna think that you can do it. There's nothing to it. I can do that, but It's like people don't realize the different levels of knowledge that it takes, the actual athleticism involved, you know, whether it's being able to jump off the ropes or whether it's being able to keep your breath while you're throwing punches or something, you know.
Like, fuck worrying about a move. Just make sure you can last the match.
Right, yeah, so.
Man. Why, so you prefer the drama out of the American style, correct?
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about your company. Mm-hmm. You started a wrestling company. Tell us about it.
Okay. So I had started Sonoran Championship Wrestling. When was my first show? I don't know, man. It's been so long now. Probably sometime in 2015. But started out doing like little school fundraiser shows to try and get the name out there. That wasn't really taken off the way that I wanted to, so then we just started running at the Nile. It was one of those things too where there were a lot of guys that I've known personally in the business who were just fed up with so many of the other companies. And it's funny because going into putting everything together, I had a lot of support. I had a lot of guys. Well, hold on. I had a lot of guys saying, Jay, man, if you start a wrestling promotion, I'm there, man. I'm there. Whatever you need from me, I'm there. Just let me know when, where. And I'm like, cool, all right. I'm like, you know what? I got to take a leap, man, because I was fed up with a lot of the stuff that was going on, and I really wanted to just give people a place to where they can just work and have fun and hone their skills. And the main thing that I pushed going into this was a drama-free locker room.
Right.
It was like, dude, hey, listen, not everybody's going to be best friends in the business. People are going to have disagreements. People are going to bump heads. But guess what? At the end of the day, we're professional wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? You step into that locker room, be a professional, shake everyone's hand, you know, be cordial.
Sound
Even if you don't like.
You do,
Well,
man.
really?
You tell you, hey, you really do sound like that, man. That's cool, though. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
So, no, it's all good. Which, by the way, I mean, we completely skipped. I got to go back about the training. Because I left Dory's and then I came to IZW.
Okay.
And I was trained under Navajo Warrior, Triple X Lawrence Tyler, and Big Jack Bull.
Okay.
So I owe all of them being a lot of credit as far as the finished product or whatnot. I'm very appreciative and thankful that I had all of them. You know, I learned more in 1 week at IZW than I did 4 weeks at Dory's.
Really?
Which, yeah, it's not a knock on Dory either. He's the man. He knows what he's doing. He's trained countless names, like actual names, you know. But it's like just the in-depth knowledge that I received going through IZW was, man, I wish a lot of guys went there.
I wish they would have had a training center when I got there. I had to end up training with who I trained with in the backyard.
Right.
And even though he was a good trainer, I think Nab would have been better for me.
Right.
Mentally.
Right.
So I think I would have learned a lot more from Nab because Nab pretty much taught Gallo everything he knows.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah.
So going back to your company again.
Okay. So yeah, I really wanted to push a drama-free locker room. A lot of people were on board with it. But then as time went on and I started to book shows and I'm letting people know, hey, I got this show coming up, blah, blah, blah. I had so many people saying, I'll be there. Day of the show, sorry, Jay, I can't make it. I'm going to work for so-and-so. So that was
you
like...
ran the same day?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
On purpose?
I mean, I can't necessarily say if it was on purpose, but there was times where I'd be running a show and literally across town someone else is running. But even when I knew that, hey, I'm already advertising my show and then they start advertising theirs, I already know, okay, I'm running against these guys. They're a little more known than I am. Hey, it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to cancel my show. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm just going to do everything that I said I was going to do, which, I mean, it was working a little bit. We were starting to get some momentum. But just the financial strain, and you have to take into the you know, you have to take the egos and the attitudes, and it started to slowly bleed into my locker room, and I said I was done, man.
I was told you paid well.
It paid well. I would say it's pretty much the
Probably
same
more.
as everyone else.
I heard it was
Probably
a little more.
I mean, maybe. Who knows? I don't know what other guys are making, but with that being said, there were also people saying that I didn't pay people at all. So
Really?
yeah.
Oh, it's shitty. I didn't hear anything but good things, man. So I mean, you had who you had at the last show, and it was everybody that I knew. I think there was only one person that I didn't know at that entire show. Everybody else there I've been on shows with, and everybody was cool as shit. It seemed like they're having a good time.
Right.
So, and that show was the benefit for your cousin, right?
Yeah.
You want to explain what happened to your cousin?
So yeah, my cousin Chris, who I actually just came from visiting him a little bit ago.
Oh yeah.
He was walking home one Sunday. It was probably about 2 years ago now. Actually, I think the anniversary just came up several days back. But he's walking home from work, and a guy who was high on meth jumped a curb and ran him over.
Damn.
Yeah, he got hurt pretty bad, and ultimately he ended up having to have all 4 of his limbs amputated just to save his life.
Wow. Holy shit.
So, yeah.
All right, so that benefit show, was that a success?
It was.
Got everything paid off?
It was, definitely. Well, I mean, not everything paid off as far as medical bills or whatnot, but, you know, have some money set aside for him once his life is back on track, you know, if he wants to move or whatever the case may be, have a nice chunk of change saved up for him.
That was awesome of you, man.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. He's one of those ones that his spirit and just his attitude with all of this has been just amazing, man. Like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I thought about that too. What if that happened to me? Oh man.
Yeah,
he's a better person than me.
Like, exactly. Like, it really makes you have a much greater appreciation for life and the little things that you take for granted. Like, I don't need someone else to wipe my ass, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't need someone to help me do my day-to-day things that I'm capable of doing by myself, you know, and that's why I really, really, really admire my cousin. And we were already close before this, but this has brought us, like, even closer, I would say.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
That's cool to have family like that, man. Damn. Let's get back to questions here. I gotta get back on track. So we covered that. What was your first match like, and who was it against?
Well, my very first match, and this is another thing that I'm always talking about, is like you just don't know when your time is gonna come. But literally, my first week of training with Dory, we had a total of 4 training sessions on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday rolls around, and it was time for the show.
What?
Yep. I
What?
got thrown in my first week of training.
God.
First week of training, got thrown into a battle royal. It's probably, I want to say a 15, 16-man battle royal. I don't know. Paul London was in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Paul London. Cool
Oh, shit.
dude. So I've known him for quite a while. But, yeah, that was interesting. It was interesting. I look back on my performance that night and I'm deeply disappointed.
Oh, man.
I thought
Come
I
on,
was
you can't be that
man.
hard on
I
yourself,
thought I was
bro.
the man. You got to see the video, man.
You have no video.
And then right after that, I had my first singles match against my boy Anthony, aka Tank Dog. We had a singles match, and yeah, I thought it was great. But obviously, I look at that match now and I want to throw up out of my ass. And then after that, we had a 6-man hardcore match. So again, me, Anthony was in there again, some of the other guys from the Battle Royal. And I think that was our welcome to the business match or whatnot, because the champion at the time, a guy by the name of Adam Windsor, who was Dory's like golden boy or whatnot, comes down to the ring and just starts laying everybody out with weapons, you know.
Like shoot?
Yeah, no.
Get the fuck out of here. Nah.
He took a, you know, like a walker that people use?
Yeah.
Old folks?
Yeah.
He starts hitting me on my hip with that fucking thing. Like 3 times.
Oh,
hard as shit, man. I was,
why?
Yeah, dude, I couldn't, it like knocked the wind out of me, dude. Like, it hurt so bad.
Shit.
But yeah, he laid in. That was pretty good. And I don't know, man. My boy Anthony, he maybe went to one more camp after that and he was done. But some of them other guys, I didn't see them back ever again. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a shitty experience, dude. I'm sorry.
I'm all limping around, and we thought it, man, it was like still a really good experience because so Adam was getting looked at by WWF at the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we were like on the road going to like different parts of Florida. For the house shows.
Wow.
So yeah, Adam worked like three different nights. He got to work a guy, and that was the first time, to my knowledge at least, that was when Paul London first got looked at.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah.
So were you in the same class as Paul London?
No,
okay.
no, I wasn't in the same class. He was already pretty experienced
Okay.
there. He's traveling and stuff. But
Where are you from? Arizona originally?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So that's why you went before. Okay.
Yep.
How long have you been working for?
Well, that was back in November of 2001. So, I quit or I left the business probably right before almost my 18th year anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's that long. Holy shit.
Yeah, man.
Damn. What's been your favorite match you've had so far? You're on my top 5.
Yeah.
I will say, you're on my top 5, dude. You're top my 5 matches. I think we had a flow match, so.
I had some, man. All right, so I had some really good matches with a guy by the name of Ryan Lynch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those
wow.
were some of my favorite
That's a lot of
ones.
names.
Just because, I mean, me and this dude, we really had like the same mindset. You know, like he wanted to put me over as much as I wanted to put him over.
Right.
And it's just like the
awesome.
chemistry, the in-ring chemistry. We never worked before, and our first match was like phenomenal. Like that's still one of the ones that I can go back and watch and hardly find anything, if anything, that I didn't like about it.
Right.
You know, and that was back in like 2008. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we would tear the house down. I'd say after that, I had a really good match with Chris Masters one time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How'd that
Like
go?
it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun. Like I know his style is way different from mine, but I love the fact that okay, the dude's obviously bigger than me.
Right,
You know
he's
what I'm
big.
saying? And I love the big man, little man matches. Like, and I mean, I'm not saying I'm a little man by any means. I'm bigger than a lot of guys, but
Right.
the dude just, man. I went for a bulldog out of the corner, and he was gonna like shove me off, and the dude launched me across the fucking ring,
shit.
man. I literally got high up over. Oh shit! But yeah, that was a fun one.
That's awesome. What about your show? What about your match with Big Show, dude? I definitely wanted you to talk about that.
Oh man, yeah.
Sorry, you can brag a little bit. It's a podcast. Fuck it. I don't have that many viewers, listeners.
I know. I had fun with that for a long time. That was like the highlight of my career, man.
Wow.
Which obviously it should. You know, first and foremost, we were backstage and we were at SmackDown. Jamie Noble came and grabbed a couple of guys, took them to the ring. A bunch of us were just hanging out. And then he comes back and he's like, I'll take you, fuck it, I'll just take all of you.
Wow.
So he's like walking, like hurrying his ass back to the ring, and I'm walking. I'm like the only guy trying to keep up with him. Everyone else was kind of lollygagging and talking, and you could even tell he like looked over his shoulder at one point, like, hurry the fuck up, man.
Oh, jeez.
I'm hurrying, trying to stay with them.
I'm right there with you. I get, yeah.
I got to the ring first, and Arn Anderson was in there with Show, and he's just like, hey, come on up here, and like, we're gonna do something here tonight. And I'm like, oh shit, is this it? Is this it? I had to get my cherry pop tonight, man. Like, I was all excited. And then actually, so the match was it was super easy. They actually had it laid out step by step. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just, hey, he's coming back. This is his debut match, or his return match. They're pushing the thing with Mayweather at Mania. So it's just like, we're just going bam, bam, bam. So step A to Z or whatnot. And there was one point where they wanted to see if I could do something where I end up on all fours. I was going to end up all fours, like center ring, and Show's going to come up and just kind of like punt me in the gut and have me fly across the room. Oh, it was nice. It was nice. Don't worry. He did it a couple times.
Wow.
He gave me the kick, and I literally just threw myself from all fours to the ropes. And they were like, oh, yeah, that looks good. That looks good.
Nice.
And I'm like, oh, shit, like this. They're going to love this tonight.
Yeah.
And that last second, they're like, no, we'll cut that part out.
Oh,
I'm like, oh,
dude.
man. So, yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, I was just a body. I didn't really get to showcase me or my ability, the stuff that I can do. So that part was kind of like, damn. But it was just one of them things where I'm like, all right, man, I'm already in their face, and I need to keep coming back and do whatever I got to do to ultimately get that job. But
sorry if it's hot in here. Oh, my bad. Sorry if it's hot in here.
oh no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, cool. That I thought it was something else. I think I heard a different story from Gallo or something, but whatever.
What's that?
Oh no, he said you took a couple chops from Big Show.
Oh, yeah, no. So yeah, he gave me like one where he pulled me into the ring. I was on the outside of the ring. He grabbed me by the head, pulled me up to the apron, draped me over the ropes, going backwards, and then he gave me the big mitt to the chest. It was easy, man. It
really?
was easy. Yeah, whole match was easy. The only part that even hurt was he clotheslined me in the corner. And you know, normally when you
Grape
take a
squisher?
clothesline,
Grape squisher?
yeah, you feed your chest out a little bit and absorb some of that shock. But it was like, dude, it's so damn massive, man. He just
there's nothing you can do.
grape squisher, ain't nothing you can do. Like,
I
I ate that. That was the worst part of the match. But other than that, everything else was super light, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
There's a guy that both of us don't like. I don't know if maybe you like him, maybe you don't. No, I think you beat him up in the locker room. But he went down to Florida to go to the training center.
Yeah.
And Bill DeMont gave him grape squisher after grape squisher after grape squisher till he quit.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, and he got invited there too. I was like, yeah, fucker. I was like, why would you quit?
I know, right?
You fuck me up, do whatever you want to me. I'm not gonna quit. Jesus
Right.
Christ.
Yeah.
Who do you want to work in the future?
Well, at the moment, nobody.
Here and there? You want to do little spot shows here and there?
No, not really, man. I got a lot of people trying to ask me to come back and, oh, Jay, man, I got this idea if you were to come back. And I'm just like, I entertain the idea for a second, but then I'm like, dude, no. Like, I'm enjoying my time with just being at home with my kids and trying to do my little side hustles and whatnot. And I'm just living a normal, average life now. Like,
I think you should run another show, man. I do. I think you should run another show. But that's just my opinion. Because I love, dude, your belt was fucking awesome. I marked out for that like a motherfucker.
Oh, okay, you talking about the Sonora Championship?
Yeah, dude was at the Fighting Spirit Championship.
Yeah.
Dude, that belt was awesome. And you gave it to your cousin, didn't you?
I have it at home, but
Okay.
he hasn't taken it yet. You know, he's got he's staying with my aunt right now. He's got his own room and stuff. But I don't think he really has anywhere to keep it necessarily. So
All right.
maybe I'll get it in like a shadow box or something. And
Dude,
once
that
he
would be awesome.
moves into his own place, we'll go ahead and put it up on
Don't
his
have that
wall.
belt around me. I'll snatch that shit up. That belt was fucking sick.
Yeah.
Theories, okay? What are your thoughts on Trump?
I am not a fan, man. I am not a fan at all. It's one of those things where the guy wasn't qualified to be put in office, first and foremost. He had no experience in politics whatsoever, but because of his name, if you want to say that, because of his name, he got the job. And if you think about when I don't know if you started following it from the beginning, but when he first announced that he was going to run, a lot of people took it as a joke.
So I did. I absolutely did.
Yeah. They laughed it off, but then, hey, he got up there, he said some pretty outlandish stuff, and then that's when you had all the racists.
Dude, they came from out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was like full blown.
I had a guest on the other day that told me that in his town in West Virginia, they're handing out KKK pamphlets.
Yeah.
That's what this guy has done. He's made it okay for people to fucking come out like they're coming out of the closet and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry, but go ahead. Keep going.
I'm happy to know that we agree on that. Obviously, everybody's going to have disagreements, and I'm completely fine with that. We're adults. We should be able to have conversations.
Right.
But one thing that we cannot have a disagreement on and have it be okay is fucking racism.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got so many people that say, oh, it doesn't exist or it'll go away if you don't talk about it. But it's like, motherfucker, you clearly haven't been black before. You clearly don't know what it's like to be black. Like, it ain't no excuse or anything, man. Like, I normally keep a lot of that to myself, but the stuff that I've gone through in my 36 years of existence, you know, it's like, there's a lot of people that wouldn't be able to fucking handle what I've gone through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, this dude he just opened the floodgates for this stuff.
Yeah.
I did a little post yesterday with everything that's been going on. I've just been like, one minute I'm in a good mood, and the next minute I'm like stressing out about it. But one thing that I have come to terms with or realized is that not all Trump fans are racist, but all racists are Trump fans.
Yeah, that's
Real
true.
Talk, man.
Nope,
Real
that's
talk.
the truth.
Real talk.
I totally agree with you, man.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
I don't either, dude. My dad likes Trump, and he says it's because he fixed the economy.
No. He
said it's because he's a businessman. That's why he voted for him.
Right.
I don't know about that.
Hey.
I had my suspicions of why he voted for him.
But here's the deal. Here's the other thing that I want to ask people, because I have yet to see somebody who's a Trump fan that loved Obama also.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Every Trump fan talks shit about Obama.
Exactly, man.
Every single
exactly.
one.
So it's like, okay, so we getting down to the real nitty gritty on what type of person you actually are.
Right.
But in the whole scheme of things, it's one of those things where I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm thankful for him at this point, because guess what? He showed me who I can and can't trust, or who, if shit hits the fan, I need to be shooting that motherfucker first before I think that they're gonna be my ally. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it definitely brought people out to be more vocal.
Right.
Right. On both ends of the spectrum. You know what I mean? And it's, I mean, it's because of who he is. He's a good public figure, and that's about it. But I don't even know how that's a possibility when every time he's going to a country to visit somebody, he generally insults them.
Right.
You know? And it's like, dude, how the fuck are you like this?
Right.
You know why? Because nobody's ever told him he's wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. Nobody's ever kicked his ass.
Yeah, oh, thank you. I was about
That's
to
what
say.
happened.
Nobody ever
Nobody's
punched
ever,
him in the mouth.
I guarantee he's never been punched in the face.
Right.
Guarantee, because people that haven't gotten punched in the face act like that. Like most kids nowadays.
Exactly.
You know?
Wrestlers.
If you've never been in a fight, you shouldn't be a wrestler.
Exactly.
Do you feel he's taken his country a step backwards in cultural relationships?
Big time, man. There's no questions about it. It's like the fact that you can say some of the stuff that he said about people, which is like, you know, he said Mexicans are criminals and
rapists,
yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I have Mexican friends that are Trump supporters, and I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Even after the fact that the kids in cages whole thing,
No.
which they're still in those imprisonment camps. They're
Right.
children. They had children separated from their... Think about this. Anybody listening, I want you to think really hard, or anybody listening to YouTube, I want you to think really hard about this. If you are a Trump supporter, he took people that were trying to have a better life, that didn't know what else to do, that possibly could have been murdered and had their whole entire family slaughtered because of the gangs that are there, right? Stopped them, separated them from their children. So now their children have trauma. Their children have permanent trauma to them. Plus being separated from their parents, that's a scary thing for a child. On top of that.
But here's the deal. You couldn't just send them back?
Right. Yeah. What?
Why are they in cages? Why
are
they
they being
not
detained?
Send them back. Send them back home. I would much rather, if I was trying to escape that life, I would much rather be sent back home and have my kids with me and trying to figure this shit out versus being held captive here away from my kids. And that's the thing, like, so many of those people out there just don't know how to put themselves in other people's shoes.
Right.
And it's like,
if Barack Obama suddenly said, I'm taking everybody of Irish descent and I'm putting you in cages, and any of your relatives that are coming here are gone, you're going to be separated from your families, I'm pretty sure there would have been a giant uproar, possibly a civil war.
yeah, he would have been assassinated quick.
Right.
I'm surprised he made it through both terms.
Dude, me
honestly.
too. Yeah, that was a miracle.
I'm like, man, somebody gonna get this dude, man. I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah, I think once people, even the people that hate him, really got nothing to hate him about because his policies were fine. He made sure people had health insurance, which was pretty awesome. It kind of screwed people out of some jobs. My sister's one who got screwed out of a job because of the Obamacare, but it's because she was part of a health insurance company that wasn't catering to that whole situation.
Right.
I thought everybody should have been on board. You're going to give me health care and it's going to be cheap, not nothing.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Nobody could afford medical bills. They're fucking expensive.
Exactly.
Anyway, I went way off topic.
No, it's fine. But see, just to add to that is, right now we're in a position where people are relying on stimulus checks and assistance from the government and all of this crap, and it's like, you remember when Obama did that stimulus package? No?
Oh, did he?
Everybody got a $600 check.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
probably back in 2009.
Okay.
And so many people said he was a fucking moron for doing that.
They say he was a socialist, too.
They were so pissed off at what he's doing. But now, shoes on the other foot, and Trump is doing it, and now they're like, oh, you need to thank your president, and if you don't support Trump, then you can send your stimulus check back and all of this stuff. It's like, come on, man.
I'm not a fan of the stimulus check myself, just because of what it does to the economy. It worsens it a little bit, because one, they're printing money. They're making money. They're printing money that we don't have. We're billions in debt to China, no less. And that's all my beef about it. I mean, I'm grateful that I got my check because it helped pay my child support.
Right.
I was a little bit behind my child support, and this helped put a dent in it, a huge dent in it. So.
Yeah.
And then the other part about the stimulus check I don't like is that everybody fell behind, 3 months in bills who weren't working?
Yeah.
And they waited a month or so to get their first unemployment check, so it put people way behind.
Mm-hmm.
All this check did was pay bills that were already behind.
Right.
They're not stimulating the economy,
Mm-hmm.
So that's my beef with that, but it was great in theory.
Right.
It's great to get free money from the government after all you push into it, you know what I mean? Do you believe in conspiracy theories?
Some of them, yes.
Which ones?
There's, it's a case-by-case thing. I don't have any that I'm, harping on at the moment. But I know there's stuff that, just by the stuff that I've experienced in my lifetime, I'll just give you a random story, but I had some guys at a security job that I was going to be considered a supervisor for when I was brought in because of my background and whatnot. And I literally caught these guys spying on me and stuff.
What?
Yeah, a couple of the
That's
guys
weird.
one of them was already a supervisor and the other one wanted that job because they were buddies. They were spying on me, trying to catch me, slipping, Yeah. It's one of those things where I ultimately went to HR about it, and then HR kind of gave me the runaround, and ultimately they sent my boss's boss to fire me. So,
really?
So yeah. So there's to say that there's no, something is a conspiracy.
Right.
When people use that type of language, everyone think you're crazy.
Right.
Oh, he's crazy. No, there are real life conspiracies. Some of them hit home, some of them out there in the world. It's just a matter of which ones do you actually look into, which ones do you take serious,
Right.
So I know they exist.
Man. So you don't believe in any particular conspiracy theories, like the moon landing or any shit like that, or?
No, not really. Not at the moment, no.
Oh. What about who killed Kennedy?
Now that, see,
I get everybody with this one.
Yeah, I feel like he was set up, man. I think the government did that shit.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
I think they set up Lee Harvey Oswald as the perfect patsy.
Mm-hmm.
He had all the qualities. And dude, I said on a couple podcasts ago, he looked surprised and full of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who's guilty is
Right.
not that fucking surprised they got
Exactly.
caught. When you do something like that, you know there's a good chance of you getting caught. So you're prepared for that mentally. That man was not prepared for anything. It looked like they snatched him the fuck out of a door somewhere.
Right.
And brought his ass in, and then Jack Ruby goes and shoots him. Why would he have done that?
Right.
What would his possible motive be? Because he shot the president? I don't fucking think so.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Do you have any conspiracy theories of your own? Nothing you think's out of whack that shouldn't be?
Nothing that I can really think of off the top of my head right now. Like I said, I know they exist. obviously some of them are going to be true. Okay, so here's one that I definitely, I do have one.
Okay.
9/11.
Okay.
Like, it just doesn't make sense that those buildings
I agree.
imploded the way they did.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what a controlled demolition looks like. I worked construction.
Right.
And that looked like a definite controlled demolition.
Yeah, that was one of the ones. So it's been a minute, like, but there's no way, man. There's no way. And you got these people that are still mourning 9/11, yet they're telling us to get over slavery and get over the civil rights era and all of this stuff like that. And it's like, that shit is still affecting me today.
Right, right.
You know?
To deny that there is a problem in this country is to be foolish.
Yeah.
You know, people, I think they just do that for their own self-preservation.
Right.
So this is what happens, man. People have this bubble, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything outside of that bubble isn't real.
Right.
What is inside their bubble is their reality. And if you attempt to pop that bubble and say, hey, why don't you stick your head in the bubble, take a look over here, maybe this is what's going on. People freak the fuck out because they don't want to lose their little, bubble of safety that they have built around themselves. So thinking outside of that is completely out of line to them.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe, and most of these people they're very judgmental. If you don't believe in what they believe in, you're wrong, and you're the bad guy, and you're my enemy.
Exactly.
That's how most of those people think.
Right.
So I got way off topic here, and I got to fix the format. We stopped at Who Killed Kennedy, and I went on a tirade about it.
So good.
So here we got more. Just pulling it up right now. Joe Rogan recently stated that what we perceive to be reality is actual AI. And there's a scientist that recently put a lecture on YouTube stating that he could prove it using physics. What are your thoughts on that? Like the Matrix theory.
They have so what are they saying? We're like sitting in a chair. So
you'll have some by noon once. Give me some regular.
George, you got 1 second? I just want to ask you a question. We're doing a story on I'm collecting overdue bills for the city. You notice the number of councilmen haven't paid their water or sewer bills yet.
Cash flow problem.
Is that why you haven't paid yours?
I didn't know it wasn't paid, but that's...
Well, it's about a year since you paid a water or sewer bill. According to almost $500.
It's a long ways from $2,000 I would at one time.
So you say you are paying off your bill?
No, I didn't say that.
But it says here you haven't paid your bill in a year.
That's what you said. I'm not aware of that. No big problem, The city ain't gonna go bankrupt.
Well, don't you think it's a bad example to set?
No, I do not. I don't have the money.
You don't have money to pay a $400 water bill?
I do not have the money, okay? Did you hear me?
Well, in a time of austerity,
just a minute.
Don't you think it's...
How much you owe?
Well, you owe $440.
I do not have the money.
You say you don't have money to pay your bill.
Did you hear me?
But your water's still on, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, don't you think your water should be turned off if you're not paying your bill?
No, it should not be. One of these days, you're going to corner me, and I'm going to kick your ass. Okay? And one of these days, you're going to corner me, and I'm going to kick your ass.
Well, don't you think that's a legitimate question, George? I mean, you're not the only councilman.
You're
not the only councilman.
Wait a minute. I gave you a legitimate answer. You asked me about my water bill. What did I tell you?
You said you didn't have the money. But your water's still on, isn't it?
Now, that was my fucking answer to you.
But I don't think everybody has that luxury of having their water
tough
maintained.
Shit. Okay, now, one of these days you're going to corner me and I'm going to kick your ass. Now, keep fucking with me, okay? Now, I'm telling you, keep fucking with me.
You're not the only one, George.
I'm not talking about anybody else but you. Now, I gave you a goddamn answer.
And I asked you a follow-up question.
I gave you a fucking answer. Now, one of these days I'm going to kick your fucking ass. And it might be this goddamn one. Now, you got your fucking answer. Now, get out of my goddamn face.
Thank you. Okay.
I ain't bullshitting with you. Now, I'll take that fucking camera and wrap it around your goddamn head. Now, one of these days, you're going to grab me the wrong fucking minute. No, I gave you my fucking answer, okay?
Okay.
We got a meeting.
Now, I ain't bullshitting with you.
We got a meeting.
Now, you scared him, but I'll kick your goddamn ass, boy. I ain't bullshitting with you.
We got a meeting.
Son of a bitch. Now, you hang around with me if you want. Now, you think I'm bullshitting with you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our last and final call is from Rob the Nod. Rob, you had a couple guest spots on my podcast. How was your experience, and did it impact you at all?
All the experiences are great as always. I nod my way into conversations and I nod my way out in a good, positive way. But yeah, it changes my life every day.
So you would say you had a good time on the podcast then?
I enjoy the podcast. They're great. I don't know what I'll do without them.
Wow. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad we can help.
Well, yeah, we all got to be people persons, We can't just be pretending we got a Bluetooth in the ear and talk to ourselves.
Right. That would be pretty fucking weird. All right, Bob. All right, Rob, hold on a second. Hold on the line while I stop recording. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the One Stone Dude podcast. This is your host for the last time until August, Ryan Castle. We'll be back August 3rd. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Jay Garland again for his contribution to this podcast. I know it's going to be a big hit on the platforms. I just got a good feeling about this. This episode was full of great energy. Jay brings a lot of respect and integrity to the wrestling business, and that's all. I knew I could hear that from him, and that's what I was looking for. So that was a great interview, and I really appreciated everything he said. So August 3rd, with my new co-host, Rob the Knob. He'll be doing that once a week with me. He'll be on the show. He's going to help as far as producing is concerned as well, and coming up with new content for the podcast. Our first podcast that we have on August 3rd will be with guys who run another podcast. So look for that. I believe it's called the 30 Podcast. Those guys will probably be drunk. I'll probably be stoned as usual, and that'll be the show. So thanks for sticking in these first 2 seasons. I really appreciate it. There's a lot of people that made great contributions, and I really appreciate all you guys. If there's anything you need to address with me, any issues that you had with the podcast, or possibly any comments or questions you want to direct, or even thoughts. I will take thoughts for a show. I want you to email me at Ryan Castle Podcast 0311 at gmail.com. Try that out. Okay. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you once again for tuning in. Have a great week.